Okay, since this is our first session, everyone feel free to message me. So I'll put my number out there. Whoever doesn't have my number, I'll message everyone after the course. Feel free to message me how you think you went and how it needs to change to your learning, to how you'll find it. Sometimes what happens, we can even adjust. Let's say if this first section is too much, so we can reduce that to, let's say, 30 minutes. We can have a 20-minute, 25-minute discussion. Yeah, because sometimes I don't want to. Let's say you're after 20 minutes everything's switched off and I go on for like 2 hours. Yeah, so we can reduce the size. Sometimes, let's say, see those more interesting. We can have 20-minute discussion here. But let's say whatever you find more interesting, we can like tailor accordingly. So we can make some sessions shorter. But we can't get rid of a session completely. Yeah. So that's what we can't do. But we can make one shorter or make one longer, and so we'll get the hang of it, inshallah. And if I'm going too fast, what you need to message me is I think the session is going too fast. Maybe if you give me some, so I don't get offended by anything you say. Unless you swear at me, then I might get offended. But apart from that, if it doesn't involve swearing, then please feel free to give me suggestions on how you, because here I see myself as a person to facilitate your learning. Yeah. So however you want to learn, that's how I want to deliver it. So it's not this is my standard and this is what I'm going to do whether you understand or not. Yeah, which is very impractical. It's not a good way to teach. I don't like that. Yeah, so that's why I rely on your feedback to say, you know what, if you've done this a bit more slower, spend more time on this, then alhamdulillah, so I benefit and you benefit, inshallah. I think the problem with me, because I want to in the space of 5 minutes, I want to cover 100 things. So I talk very fast to try and cram everything in. But obviously not everyone works like that, which isn't very practical, which isn't the best thing to do all the time, yeah? So you just need to slow me down and stop me sometimes. Okay. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'll do it. Oh no. I don't know why that keeps changing. Everyone see the screen? How was it before? It wasn't like this before, was it?
No.
Was it like this?
Yeah.
No, it was actually a full screen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't.
You got a slideshow at all?
Slideshow
No,
from beginning.
no, where you are now? Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's on the other screen.
Why is it? Duplicate. Why is it showing up like that? It wasn't that doing that before. Does anyone know how to? Anyone know what changed? Display settings. I think it said duplicate before, isn't it?
Yeah.
What changed? Display settings. Show taskbar.
Go to display settings at the top.
Doesn't let me click on anything. Show taskbar. No. What changed?
Try extend instead. Oh, would you prefer try the extend?
No. That's strange. Sure, I pressed the presentation button last time as well. Correct. What happened, everyone? Who's good at this stuff? I actually need the presentation for this one. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions.
What about the icons?
Oops.
Which is the
Yeah, that's true.
is this a Zoom, yeah?
Yeah, that's doing everything.
This one, yeah.
No, this one. Yeah, that's already showing on Zoom.
You just need it to show on the screen.
Yeah, as a slideshow, how it was done before.
Play the slide slow so you see which screen it comes on.
you extend it, it doesn't show anything on there.
Maybe if you swap them around. Scroll up on this.
I think it's a PowerPoint issue. Wasn't it?
Scroll up and just swap these around. Well, three. I think the three is which one's the big one? 65 yeah.
Well,
That's two. That's number two.
so we want to extend to 2, right?
Like it's both of the other screens are as well, isn't it?
Oh, three.
Extend to 2.
It's not sound good, right? I think it's been a PowerPoint thing because just the PowerPoint settings must have been. But before now, it's
Which screen does it do if you start playing it? If you play the slideshow, what screen does it go to?
it goes to both. It's just
That one and that one.
yeah, it goes to both these screens. That's how it's doing. Just that black part. I don't know where that's coming up. But if it's not, it's fine because we're running out of time anyway.
Let's see. That's 2 and 3, right? So, just try only 3.
You know it's fine because we're running out of time. Just leave it how it was. So we're duplicating two.
Right, should we just carry on?
Yeah, it's just fine.
No, it's copied there.
No, I can't see anything here.
Now, if you open your PowerPoint on your laptop,
Okay. Not coming up.
yeah, I can see your PowerPoint. Look.
That's not his laptop.
It's not my laptop. Right?
You should select to second screen only.
Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Okay, it should be fine. Actually, no, what about the Zoom guys?
Just ask the Zoom can they see?
Zoom guys, can you see my PowerPoint? If you can just unmute and just speak. Zoom guys, I can't see your chat at the moment. If you just can speak.
What's the Zoom app?
Actually, no, they kind of.
We're going to put thumbs up.
Okay, I don't know. I can't speak.
Did they say you can't see?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so we've got about 20 minutes anyway, inshallah. So chapter wudu. So this is a bit more practical now. So let's see how much of this we can get through. Okay, so chapter of wudu. So we're going to start off with the obligatory acts of wudu, which is a fara'id wudu. Ideally, what we needed to do is go through the keywords of fiqh. So we'll go through that next time. I'll send you the documents if anyone wants to look over it beforehand. We'll start. Let's just get into it. Okay, so what we're going to see some areas of discussion when it comes to wudu, definitions, verse of wudu, hadith of wudu, rinsing the mouth and nose, number of washes, necessity of saying bismillah, wiping the head, and wiping the feet. Okay, so Okay, so the first question is, okay, so when it came to wudu of the Prophet ﷺ, he never taught them that these are the things that you must do, these are recommendations, these are the mere permissibles. He just done wudu. So there's about 20 narrations where the companions describe the wudu of the Prophet ﷺ. And every narration says, we saw the Prophet ﷺ performing wudu like this. And then they copied, and then they tell them, or let's say you have the hadith for Uthman radiallahu, for example. First, he ordered one of his students to go grab a pot of water, and he done wudu in front of them, and then he said, "Won't you ask me what I just did?" And they said, "What did you just do?" So this was the wudu of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is how I observed him do wudu. So that's how it was. That was their fiqh of wudu. Now the question is, how many things are obligatory in wudu? What if I miss something out? Does my wudu count? Remember, the Sahaba did not ask hypothetical questions. They didn't say, "Okay, what if you did this? What if you did this the opposite way around? What if you missed this out?" They did not ask hypothetical questions. Now the question is, what if we miss something out? How do we determine what's necessary, what's a sunnah, and so on and so on. Okay, so first, when it comes to the Quran, there's only one verse of wudu, which is Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 6. This is the only verse of wudu which exists in the Quran. So Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, idha qumtum ila salah, that when you're about to pray, or technically, literally when you're about to stand for salah, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ, then wash your faces and your arms, إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, to the elbows, وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُسِكُمْ, wipe your heads, وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ, and your feet up to the ankles. And this is وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَطَّهَّرُوا, and if you're in a state of major impurity or janaba, and so on. We're going to ignore that part. Okay, so this is the verse of wudu. Remember that? So, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ, wash your faces, your arms, including your elbows, wipe your heads, and your feet, including the ankles. Is there any other instructions that anyone can see here? Yeah. Anything else that you can take away from this? Okay, so which limbs must I wash? Face,
Hands and face.
arms, and feet. Feet. And in terms of wiping, what do I need to wipe? Head. Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. And so and wash your faces, this is a command, yeah? So command means obligation generally, isn't it? Yeah? So it's a command. So these are obligations. Any other obligations? Obligatory acts of wudu? Anything else I can think of that could be obligatory? Sorry? Hands. Hand in Arabic, when it says arms, the hands are included. Yeah. When you actually say the word arms, actually goes from the fingertips right to the shoulder, to the armpits. Yeah. So when they said marafiq, elbows, actually it's to exclude that just beyond their elbows. If you just said aydiyakum, your arms, it actually includes from the fingertips right to the armpits. So you had to use elbows to exclude that just after it. Anything else? Okay. This is a very debated issue, by the way. This is not definitive. Yeah. So the foundation is definitive. Yeah. So and all the four madhahib differ on what the obligatory acts of wudu are, by the way. Yeah, they all differ. On that. Okay. Number one, is the order necessary?
No.
Yes.
Who thinks yes? Put your hands up. Who thinks no? Put your hands up. Okay, you have to substantiate what you say, by the way. Okay, who can defend the answer with a logical argument? Yeah.
Well, it's written in Quran, so we don't have to debate on these things.
So that's why the order is necessary. Okay. Anyone have any contrary?
And also, as well, because it's written, in the order. If you wash yourself in a different way, it doesn't that could be a washing just to cool down, because the Sharia has come with a specific act. It's an act of ibadah, so it needs to be followed as it's stipulated.
Okay, so for it to be an act of ibadah, it must be done in the way that Sharia has said. Yeah. From the sisters, anything else? Yeah.
So during your ghusl, as long as you make the name that you want wudu, then your wudu counts. So in that sense, I don't think it would have been an issue if it was in the wrong order.
Okay, that's actually contested. According to Imam Abu Hanifa, yes, it would count. According to Ahmad bin Hanbal or possibly others, it wouldn't count. That's not an agreed upon principle there.
It's just a list, so it doesn't really matter which order you follow the list. That's a shopping list.
Okay, so like a shopping list.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Allah just wants these things washed as long as they're washed. Haven't you fulfilled the command?
Yeah, that's that.
Okay, so yeah.
There's no explicitness to say to do it in that order. There's no, it's no definitive and speculative.
Yeah.
There's not a definitive order to say to do it in that order.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's say to wash these 4 parts is definitive. Everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
Now the order, would you say speculative?
Yeah.
So there could be 2 ways of answering. Yes, it's speculative. Yeah, that's in the Hanafi fiqh, order is not necessary. Okay, and one reason why they say, so we're going to have more discussions on this. One reason why they say, if you look, Allah separated with and wash this, and wash this. Yeah. So now when I say, okay, put this in the bag, and this in the bag, and this in the bag. If you put it in the wrong way around, let's say, no, you haven't listened to my command. Yeah. If I said first put this in, and then put this in, and then put this in, then if you put it in a different way around, then I'd have an issue with it. Because I told you first put this in, and then second was this. Allah saying, and do this, and do this, and do this. Yeah. So the Hanafi say, okay, Allah used the wa. Yeah. Wa wujuhakum, wa aydiyakum. So when it comes with and, it just means for everything in the bag. Yeah. As long as it's all there, khalas. Yeah. One way to understand it. Everyone agree with this? Anyone think order is necessary now?
And if order was necessary, maybe Allah would have said thumma.
Thumma, yeah. Generally that shows sequence. Then do this, then do this. Everyone change their opinion now? Others? Okay, but what if I was to tell generally the Quran is in Arabic, isn't it? Yeah. So it's in the language style of the Arabs. Yeah. Generally, if the Arabs would say something, yeah, they'd put. Let's say I'm listing a bunch of things. Yeah. So if order wasn't necessary, generally how Arabs would do this, they'd say the things which are from one category first, and then they'd say things from another category next. That's just how Arabs would speak. It's more poetic. Yeah. But if you look at the Quran, here Allah says, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ, wash your faces, وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ, and then wash your arms, فَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. In the middle, Allah brings to wiping of the head. And then Allah goes back to washing. So wash, wipe, wash again. Is that some sort of sequence here? Why didn't Allah say, okay, wash these 3 things, and then wipe? That's how Arabs would have spoken. Yeah, if order was not necessary. What do you guys think? Speculative, yeah. In other madahib, the order is necessary. Yeah. So they believe that if you do the wudu in the incorrect order, it doesn't count because you have not listened to Allah's commandment here. Yeah. So again, this is speculative. What about intention? Is that necessary? Is that the fard of salah? That's a fard of wudu. What's you make intention that I am purifying myself for the worship of Allah before you start? Who thinks yes, that's necessary? Who thinks no, that's not necessary? Who thinks I'm just happy to be here?
Can you define it? Say, is it necessary to say the sequence, or just have the intention?
So the intention is that the purpose of the intention is to differentiate a non-act of worship and make it into an act of worship. That's what intention is. So let's see if I just wash myself. Am I worshipping God? No, I'm not. But intention is so it's thinking about before you start to do wudu that I am now purifying myself for the worship of my Creator. So hence now with this intention, then you start washing your limbs. Now this becomes an act of worship.
But is it necessary to say the words though?
Oh, no, it's in the heart. No, intention is in the heart.
But in our culture, until you don't say by words, it's not accepted as intention.
Yeah, that's cultural.
That's a cultural thing.
Yeah. So is intention necessary?
Yeah, by heart it is necessary, not by words.
What's your proof?
Not from those first.
Okay. Innamal a'mal binniyat, which means
Niyat.
actions are judged by intentions. Yeah. And the way the scholars they reword this to explain this hadith, meaning a arbitrary act becomes worship by means of intention. Yeah. So this will only become worship if we make an intention. Yeah. Yeah. So, but intention is not mentioned here, but it's still necessary. So if you don't have intention, your wudu is not valid. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah?
Yes.
So if we follow the Quran, our deen is still deficient. Because if I listen to Allah's instruction on how to do wudu, my wudu still does not count.
Practice to follow the messenger, and follow his actions.
There's overarching principles, right?
Yeah.
What would that be?
Sorry?
What would that be?
So there's general principles, yeah, that, for example, in the month, every act is but by intention. That's a general principle. And you need to apply that in specific scenarios, such as when you're making wudu.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. Okay, so one of the principles in Sharia is that for something to become an act of worship, you need to have intention. Yeah. So hence, this will also by default be applied to wudu because wudu is part of Sharia. Anyone disagree from the sisters? Anyone say intention is not necessary? That's a very good explanation. So the hadith that we have, all actions are judged by intention, meaning for something to be a part of worship, you must make intention. Any sisters have a different opinion here?
I don't think it's important.
Intention is not important. Why?
It's not difference.
Okay, so you're going to make that the overriding rule. It's not in the Quran, so hence.
But for example, even if you follow those, wash your face, your hands and elbows, if you get, a Hindu or whatever doing the same actions and they say, I'm doing it for the intention of the cow, all my intention is for Allah.
Yeah.
That intention is very important, isn't it? But you're still doing the same actions, but the intention is very important.
Okay, interesting. So everyone agreed that this is a fard of wudu, intention. I still disagree. I don't know. It's not in the Quran, isn't it? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, we'll come back to intention. Yeah. So think about it. Yeah. But I disagree. I strongly disagree. Okay. Do you have to rub the limbs? Or you just poured water without rubbing it, without touching your limbs? Would the wudu count?
Yeah.
Who thinks yes? It will still count?
Yeah.
Who thinks no, it won't count?
I think if you don't rub it, there's the chance you could miss a spot. So
Let's see, you've got a hose pipe.
Or a shower,
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So in this scenario, we've got every single spot. Yeah. Would the wudu count?
Yeah, so you define wash by that. Depends on what you define as wash.
Okay, sure. Okay. Are you Maliki? Okay, according to Imam Malik, if you don't rub it, it doesn't count. So what does wash mean? Allah said pour water on your limbs. So let's just wash your limbs. Again, so you have to go look at definition. Definitions are very important in fiqh. If you don't know a definition of something and you're trying to apply a fiqh ruling, you're just guessing. Yeah. And in fiqh, in law, what you guess is kind of irrelevant. So fiqh is all about knowing definitions and applying them. Yeah. So again, what's the definition of washing here? According to Imam Malik, this is just pouring. Yeah, Allah doesn't pour water over your limbs. This is wash your limbs. Washing is at least rubbing them. For him, rubbing is actually one of the obligatory acts of wudu. But anyway, something to think about. Is Bismillah necessary? Must I say Bismillah before starting?
that comes down to intention, doesn't it?
This is articulating the Bismillah.
Yeah. There's no, it's definitive.
Okay. Anything from sisters? Is Bismillah necessary? Yes, no.
Most of the time our washrooms have the toilets also, so you can't articulate Bismillah there.
That's actually an interesting discussion. So my answer would be, why not? It's a fiqh class, so you need to substantiate everything. My answer is why not? We'll have that discussion. Maybe next session. Okay, so is Bismillah necessary? Majority actually say yes, it's necessary. Why? We'll come to that. Okay, what just came up? Which limbs must I wash? What's that? Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay, so how many times must I wash each limb? Oh, the bottom's cut out.
They have to scroll.
No. Yeah, the taskbar's there. Okay, it's fine. You know what? Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so how many times must I wash each limb?
3 times.
Usually 3 times.
What's the Quran telling us?
Speculative.
That's an easy answer. I'm expecting this.
Are we using this as the only source though? This verse? That's our only source.
For the time being.
Yeah. So according to this source, it doesn't say 3 times, it doesn't say 5 times.
Okay. Any sisters?
Once.
Just once.
And when I said 3.
3 times. Maybe no way?
The sunnah is 3 and then for once.
Okay. It's fine. So we've discussed the order necessary. We discuss. Okay, next is how much of the head must you wipe?
1/3. Sorry.
How much of the head? What if I just wet my finger and just wipe it like this?
That's what your forehead, though, isn't it? The head passes the whole thing, so that's your head.
So they say wipe the entire head, or wipe some of the head, part of the head.
Head.
Yeah, that's when we need this, the hadith, don't we, to get the detail. Yeah.
I'd say to be sure you wipe them all. Because otherwise it comes down, because it's down, isn't it?
So you're obligating the entire head.
Yeah, just to make sure you covered your bases.
You're making everything haram.
No, because
No,
we are,
just in-
because
just in
we are
case.
just reading one source, we are not
Okay.
discussing the Sira and Sunnah, you know.
Okay. Okay, let's go to other sources. Fair enough. Okay. This is the hadith of wudu. Okay, this is the hadith that you have. Yeah, so about 20 companions describe the wudu in this manner for the Prophet ﷺ. So this is narrated, this specific one is narrated by the statement of Uthman radiallahu anhu. He says, I saw Uthman ibn Affan asking for a tumbler of water, and when it was brought, he poured water over his head, over his hands, and washed them thrice. And then, so washing the hands. And then he puts his right hand in the water container, rinse his mouth, and wash his nose by putting water in it, and then blowing it out. Okay? So wash his mouth, wash his nose. Then he washed his face and forearms up to the elbows twice. Washed his face 3 times, elbow, forearms, arms twice. Passed wet hands over his head. Yeah? Washed wet hands over his head. And washed his feet up to the ankles thrice. Then he said, Allah's Messenger said, if anyone's performed ablution like that of mine and offers 2 rakat prayer during which he does not think of anything else, not related to the present prayer, then his past sins will be forgiven. Okay, so this is the hadith of wudu. This is how all the 20 companions, explain the wudu of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah? Do you know the lights?
Lights.
Yeah. Okay, so now hadith. Okay, so let's take a few obvious things. Okay, is it necessary to wash the limbs 3 times?
Yeah, according to this source, it is.
So who thinks in wudu you must wash your limbs 3 times? 3 hands up. Okay. Okay. So they're saying it's 3 times is just a practice of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whereas what's actually necessary is just once. Who agrees with that?
You're talking about ijma though, aren't you? You're taking that ijma as a source. So if you say 20 of the Sahaba said it, so that's the ijma, isn't it? Which is quite definitive. Isn't it? It's really hard to say it's definitive.
Okay, and who agrees with 3? You must wash it 3 times. Okay, then doesn't that mean that Quran is insufficient for our guidance? So what was the benefit of the Quran in commanding us to do a deficient form of wudu?
But sometimes it's detail, because like prayer, for example, it doesn't show you how to pray, does it?
Okay.
So, it just says pray, but then the actual actions come from the hadith, which is exactly the same example.
So okay, so why didn't the Quran just say perform wudu and all the details in the hadith? Why did actually why would it specify only half the obligatory acts?
It's like prayers also, the prayers, parts of the prayers are not in Quran, so we got all the information from hadith.
Yeah, so that's when it comes to the prayer. It's like the Quran's instruction is very brief. It just says pray. It doesn't signal, stand for this long, do ruku, whatever. It just says pray. So all the details in the hadith, but in wudu, they're the same. Allah's actually pointing out this is what you must do to fulfill wudu. Yeah, if Allah's only going to point out half the thing, wouldn't that just be arbitrary instruction? Like
So, so things like the nose and the mouth doesn't mention in the Quran, does it? So,
Next up.
but that's where the detail is, though, isn't it?
Mm.
Because of ijma. I mean, you have a look at the strength of the source.
Yeah.
So ijma we're saying is a source, a strong source.
Okay, good. You're bringing ijma in. Okay, so in terms of the foundation, this hadith is definitive. Yeah. Now, in terms of its indication, what it's indicating, is this definitively saying that you must wash each limb 3 times? Just describing the wudu of the Prophet, this is what he did.
Yeah.
He didn't say you have to. That's a different thing, isn't it?
How is the prayer explained? Is it very definitive the way the prayer is explained? Or is it very speculative?
In the Quran or the hadith?
The hadith.
Hadith is very clear. So hadith Prophet commanded them to do exactly those things.
Okay, so it's not descriptive, it's instruction.
It's similar to this. It's similar to this actually. Similar to this.
So
yeah.
why do we rule this out if it's similar?
Good question. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is why. Okay, so what happens is to understand any subject in fiqh, you can't just take one hadith and think, you know what, this is the answer. You need to basically if someone actually wanted to learn how to do wudu from these original sources, it will take you months and months and months. Yeah, you'll be looking for books of hadiths and hadith. For Sahaba, it took years. Yeah, so they'll be traveling from country to country trying to find out everyone who's heard what on wudu. Yeah, imagine for Sahaba it's the most difficult task. Going around every single companion, they had spread out in different lands, Syria and different places. Yeah, and then they're gathering together. Okay, what have you heard about wudu? What have you heard about wudu? What have you heard about wudu? Sahaba wasn't too difficult, saw the Prophet. Imagine the next 2 generations trying to find out all the companions who was there when the Prophet performed wudu. Yeah, so that's why you can't just take one hadith and think, you know what, this is the. You have to look at all the other hadiths. Okay, so now it comes to. Okay, so we're just going to wrap it up. So I'm going to leave a lot of cliffhangers for next session. Yeah. According to the Hanafis, these are 4 fara'id. Yeah, we should at least know this much. Yeah, so in terms of for the Hanafis, you have to wash the face, wash both arms, including the elbows, wiping 1/4 of the head, and washing the feet, including the ankles. There's no mention of order, there's no mention of intention, there's no mention of Bismillah. As long as these 4 things are washed, someone pushes you in a swimming pool, you come out, your wudu is done. You have a shower, and then you come out salat time, your wudu is done.
With intention. Yeah.
If the intention was far, there would have been 5 things. No intention necessary, no Bismillah necessary.
What do you mean by quarter?
So just literally 1/4. So this is your whole head. At least wipe 1/4. Yeah, and doesn't specify, which means the side. Imagine you've gelled your hair and you don't want to touch it. You can just do the back. Yeah.
Does it mean rubbing as well?
If rubbing was fard, that would be 5th egg. So for them, it's not part of the definition of washing. Yeah, washing just means for water to be poured on something and for drops to come off. Okay, so these are very interesting discussions we need to have, and we need to look at all the sources that are available to come and so we understand how fiqh works. So for this is an exercise. So tomorrow, next session, this session was cut short. We should have actually looked at all the answers to all these questions that we're having. Yeah, so we'll have to do it next time because we're over time.
Is it saying behind the square? According to the Hanafis, is it?
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, according to the Hanafiya, yeah. So fara'id al-wudu according to the Hanafis. Okay, any questions apart from the cliffhangers that we left off on? Any other questions before we conclude today? Because it's already 5:30. Any questions regarding anything to do with the program, to the course, lessons? From the sisters, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, so next week, inshallah, we're going to continue with our wudu. We're going to answer all these questions. We'll look at more other sources and come up with hopefully quite convincing answers to what we believe in about wudu and basic concepts of wudu. And we'll see how it goes, inshallah. And next week we're going to start our seerah. So seerah should be, out of everything, I find seerah very interesting. So we're going to look at non-Muslim sources and other things, and also different vast amount of sources, inshallah. Any questions?
It's a half term next week or week after.
Oh yes. Yes, next week is half term, isn't it?
Next week, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
No, they're teaching.
Actually, how it works with our teaching.
Is it weekend after?
Yeah, weekend after.
It's
Yeah.
weekend after, yeah.
Yeah, so our Saturdays, our weekend is connected with the weekday.
With the week before,
Yeah, with the week before.
Week after.
Yeah,
So we're here next week.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and the online guys, I apologize. It's just very difficult to do both at the same time with the online interaction and the live interaction. It's very difficult, especially with the screens. And so hopefully, maybe I can get better at this next week, inshallah. That's why I did encourage everyone. So as much as we can, it'd be good if everyone can come on site. Then we can have these discussions. So if you're online, then we can't really have these discussions. It makes the course a bit less interesting. So if everyone can commit to coming, that would be brilliant. But if you can't, obviously, let's say your work, one day, yeah, that's fine. But let's try and commit as much as we can, inshallah. Okay, so we'll end there. I'll see everyone next week, inshallah.